Taking a few minutes out of what we know is a very, very busy day, Congressman Randy Hultgren joins us on the line. Congressman, good morning to you.
Riley, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very well this morning, sir. How's everything going with you?
Pretty well. You're right. It's busy. We've got a lot going on, trying to figure out what's going to happen on tax reform and many other issues as well. But always good to be with you.
Always good to have you along. But as long as we're talking weather, are you in the district or are you in Washington?
No, out in D.C. Yeah, we're out in D.C. This week, and we're going to be working, we'll see, probably right up to Thanksgiving or close to it until we get tax bill voted on and hopefully passed.
Looking at a press release statement of yours from a few days back, talking about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Rather than go through your statement, what's your take on all of it, and where are we going with it? Because I know a lot of people are paying attention to this.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Most people, almost everybody, would say the current system we've got is bad. It's frustrating. It's costly. It's time-consuming. It's intimidating, and our taxes are too high, and in Illinois we feel it even worse, where our state legislature has raised taxes on us hardworking families again, and so we need relief, and that's what I want to see happen. That's what my hope is, and belief is coming out of the Ways and Means Committee is true tax cuts, true tax simplification, and something that is going to continue to grow this economy, which means our jobs get better, safer, stronger, higher paying. That's what I want to see happen. And so we're just looking through the details, continuing to see it. So many good things in here. There's still some things I'm not excited about, but for the most part, again, many good things. And we're just having that opportunity again to have our voices heard as it's going through the process now. And then my guess is they'll vote on it tomorrow out of committee, and then it'll come to the full floor, the House floor next week, and that's where we'll have a chance to potentially have other amendments. Again, this is a big step. It's a difficult thing to make this tax system something that isn't so punishing for people, that instead encourages people to be productive and hardworking, and especially brings benefits to families and to small companies that are the ones that really are the backbone of growing our communities and growing our economy. So we'll see. I think it's, again, some very positive things. It certainly seems like a very good discussion going on in the committee, and some important changes to make it better each step of the way. And my hope is that's what will continue for the next week or so. But we continue to reach out to our constituents, looking at real-life scenarios, running their tax numbers on this new system, and we just want to make sure real families are going to see tax relief, that their taxes are going to go down, federal taxes. Frustrating, again, that we're going to see our Illinois taxes go up, but we want to make sure that we're seeing federal taxes go down on families so that they can, again, make better choices, certainly, than the federal government can of how to spend their own money.
This is something that the president has been beating the drum on quite a bit, and seemingly is expecting action to take place in relatively short period of time, which, of course, when the president gets behind something, then you know that there's going to be a wall of people who are going to line up against it simply because he's for it. I've heard some really outrageous takes on what this was all about, and it's the standard boilerplate, which is, it's just tax breaks for the wealthy. That's all it is. And I know that the stuff that's been put up online that people can look at doesn't say that.
Yeah, it absolutely is not. This is focused from beginning to end on hardworking families. The people, middle-income families who, again, are just trying to make it to the end of the month. And over the last few years, it's been tough as things have gotten more and more expensive, and our economy was so sluggish over the last 8 years. It was more and more difficult for people to, especially on fixed incomes, or where they weren't seeing the increases in their salary over these last years. It was very difficult for them to meet the demands of everyday life. And so trying to bring some relief again to those families, that is the focus, that is the priority, that is, if I'm not absolutely convinced that it's going to be good for hardworking families, I won't support it. But if it is going to be good for them, if it's going to bring significant tax relief, and what we're seeing is it'll be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of tax relief. And again, so refreshing compared to what we've seen Illinois do to families of increasing state taxes with really nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and speaking as an Illinois resident, really getting tired of that.
Me too. Me too. It's just brutal, and we've got to bring some relief. But at the same time, too, bringing that relief and having a vibrant economy. We forget. I forget how good it feels when the economy is growing. When it is 3 to 4% growth, we all feel it. There's this confidence that comes. There's this belief that not only am I going to have my job next year, I'm going to be making more money. I've got opportunities. There's other places I'm looking to potentially take my talents and abilities where I can even make more, or I might want to start up. I've got a good idea that I might want to start up a business, and you just see this positive momentum that we haven't felt for almost a decade, but now it's coming back, and that is good for all of us. So anyhow, with these couple of things, it really would be such a game changer, I think, for us, for our families, planning for the future, being able to support and provide for those that we care about, but then also to have an impact on our communities and our churches and charities that we believe in, investing in our homes. All of these things are so important, and I believe the final version that we're going to get is going to do so much, and it is all going to be focused on working families, making sure that they're doing better, that they've got more to keep, and that absolutely wasn't something we saw coming out of Springfield this year.
Well, and the other thing, too, with the immense amount of regulations being cut at the same time, those two things should dovetail together pretty nicely.
Yeah, I talk about it, Riley, that, you think about what are the things that would be best of growing this economy, of getting people excited. I think it is real tax reform. I think it is regulation, realizing that so much of the regulation that came pouring out of Washington, this huge growth of government, hurt the job creators, the people who are in our communities, smaller, medium-sized businesses, small banks, community banks. These are the ones that were crushed. So bringing some relief there. And then having energy policy that really is good, using our own resources here in America. So if you have tax reform, real regulatory reform, and real positive energy policy that's not dependent on the Middle East or other places, but is saying we've got this potential to provide for ourselves into the future, it could just be phenomenal for our economy going forward. And good, growing economies are very good for families and very good for young people who are looking to get through high school, college, get out there and work and start earning a living themselves and have career opportunities. All of these things play into that. And I think these are the three things that we're seeing very positive movement on that's going to continue over these next days, weeks, and months.
Spending a few minutes with Congressman Randy Hultgren, proudly representing the 14th District here of Illinois. Tell me a little bit about your take on the extension of the CHIP program.
Well, I think this is really important. There's programs that really do make a difference, especially for our kids. And the Children's Health Program is something that has been so important, especially in Illinois, where we've got and we have seen a lot of families struggling. It's so important for our kids to be healthy, to have the care that they need, preventative care, being able to see a doctor and not have to wait until there's major problems. And so, again, the CHIP program is something that has been positive, has been effective, something I've spoken out about, of making sure that we're providing access to care, true access to care for young people, and seeing that, again, it's so important for them to be able to get the education that they need to be healthy, but also it's a really leveraged benefit for our communities, because healthy kids setting healthy patterns leads to healthier young people and young adults and adults then. So this is important. It makes sense. It's something that works, and I'm glad it passed. We got it through. Some, again, good, positive action that didn't get a lot of attention, but I think really is going to be valuable to a lot of young people in Illinois and other states as well.
Congressman, as we were going through the Almanac this morning, where historical events and things that took place, the president was elected a year ago. How do you rank the first year?
Well, it's been many really good things. To me, highlights our new Supreme Court Justice, Neil Gorsuch, I think is phenomenal. He's doing such a great job. I think really relief from this unbelievable growth of government that we had seen over the 8 years before. That's been so positive. I think this focus now on real tax reform, and like I said, the big three: tax reform, regulatory relief, and energy policy that's going to be good for America. these things all are very positive. Seeing this growing economy like we hadn't seen again for almost a decade is all of that is really good, and I think President Trump gets a lot of credit for these things and having some focus on there. Certainly, there's been times that have been bumpy. There's been things that have not gone as well as I had hoped, but that's to be expected. There is a process in this. We certainly continue to see significant threats around the world. Certainly North Korea right at the top of that list, Iran, doing all that they can to stir things up and continue to push, wanting to dominate the Middle East and destroy our friends like Israel. So the threats continue. I'm glad he's taking a strong stand. We've got more work to do to make sure that we are prepared to protect ourselves and protect our friends. So I think in many ways it's been a very good year. I think it's been a learning process, which can be frustrating, but also I think is good and just gives me even more hope that this next year is going to even be better.
Outstanding. Well, Congressman, as always, I appreciate you carving time out of what we know is a busy day every single day to spend a little time with us here on the radio. We'll look forward to our next visit.
Thanks, Riley. Always good to be with you. Have a great day and stay warm.
You too.